Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 85. 86, excuse me. This is discussing more Maskman, episodes 26 and 27. 26 is a standalone episode. Mostly put, it's a Kenta episode. We have him following a woman he's in kind of falls for. It's a woman who wears white. And it turns out she's actually from the tube. And she is luring young men to this cave. And you're thinking, 3 young guys, is she going to do them? No. The reason why that she's doing this? To feed him to a monster just so she can receive her medicine. Which her medicine is, simply put, a red cherry. Which contains her medicine. I'm like, really? Her medicine is a red cherry. Yeah, and apparently she's dying. And they don't go into in the episode what the heck she's dying of. She's just dying, and apparently this special red cherry is supposed to help her. And she doesn't like doing this at all. She has no choice in the matter. Either you do this or you don't get your medicine. And after a little while, then the monster basically shows up, and of course the Maskman beat him, and of course in the case of her, she is actually killed by the monster, saving Kenta's life. And she basically does thank Kenta for basically meeting him. That she basically had a good time with him. Just hang out. That's it. It's an okay standalone episode. Episode 27. This one is a noteworthy episode because we introduced a brand new villain to the series. Kairos, the Thief Knight. And here's the thing about this guy. I believe he's also the last official bad guy introduced in this series. He was the first new one in quite a while. I mean, he's the first one. He's the first and only one not introduced in the first episode. Because pretty much, if you look at it, pretty much every single monster, every single villain who popped up in this run, all first showed up in episode 1 of this show. And in the case of Thief Knight Kairos, who actually is not a general, and mostly put, basically he's a guy who get this, the guy only appeared apparently in 14 episodes, which that seems interesting. Yeah, 14. You would think though the fact his first appearance is here, he shows up for quite a while. There's actually some episodes he's actually absent for. Yes, and look up right now, he is absent for episodes 30, 38, 39, and 42. So, small handful of episodes, not bad. Mostly put, he is just there just to basically set up a very particular story arc. And in his very first appearance, he shows up and apparently the commander basically is over with this new threat showing up. A guy who rides on a horse. Who turns out to be the Thief Knight. And he doesn't mention to him basically what he wants. He does explain to the Earth Emperor basically what he wants. He wants Princess Ayla, as in the main love interest of Red Mask. That's what he wants. And get this, the guy is a peeping Tom. Because he became infatuated with her when he saw her bathing in some water naked. Yes. And then, of course, he fell down a hole known as the Whirling Hell, and he spent 2 years in that place. And he developed a technique known as the corkscrew spiral, which he was able to get out of that hole. And thanks to that particular move, he's able to destroy the Maskman's cannon, the shoot bomber. Yeah, it's destroyed. Though they do get a replacement. And basically, even though they get away, they get back at headquarters, they're back injured. What the Thief Knight does, he actually takes the pieces of the damn thing and drops them right in front of the Earth Emperor and proves, hey, I actually destroyed the very weapon that you guys have had a problem with the whole frickin' period of time. He's like, and the Emperor's like, so, you did this? What exactly do you want? I want the princess. Aego's like, why the heck you want my sister for? He just desires her. That's simple what it is. And he's like, okay, you can have her, you can do whatever you want with her, but I have to beat the Maskman. He's like, okay. So apparently his horse is actually one of the monsters, is actually a standalone monster. And they eventually use a thing called the Aura of Life to eventually finally beat the monster, go giant size. And here's something now I should also point out though. Episode 26, is the first episode since episode 22 that they actually used their main Megazord. The one that's stored in the Turbo Ranger. Yeah. He is, in fact, this is actually the first time they've used it since that very episode. Which is called The Great Five. Yes, it's actually the first time since episode 22 they've actually used the damn thing. Yeah, and then pretty much for up until episode 26, for the next 3 episodes, it's only Galaxy Robo, and it was simply like this for a few episodes. And then they brought back Great 5 for one episode, and then in this episode they bring the Galaxy will destroy the monster of the episode, and it basically says, okay, we beat this monster, next thing to do, build a new cannon. Yep. Now, I kind of like the look of the shooter bomber. It's interesting per se. And this actually, I think, is the first time I can think of where the original cannon they used, the original big device they used to destroy the monster before it goes giant size, this actually is the first time it's actually been destroyed. There's been points where they stop using it per se, yes. But in the case of, like, actually having the item destroyed, that's a first. Yes, I've heard of vehicles been destroyed, but in the case of all the Super Sentai I've watched, now Mega Ranger is the only one I've seen. Of course, some people watching this basically are getting kind of spoiled with Mega Ranger, but they in fact destroyed some of the Megazords in that one. In the case of these early ones, from these ones per se, this is the first time one of their weapons has been destroyed. Yes, a big one. And it was like barely surviving this one. And basically the next 2 episodes are going to basically help debut a new weapon for them, which is probably going to be used for pretty much the rest of this run. But yeah, 2 interesting episodes per se. I'd say the 27 is a lot better than the 26 because 27 is introduced to a new character. And like, here's the thing. A lot of the time when they introduce a new villain, a lot of the time they easily beat the crap out of the Rangers. This one, the Rangers put up a pretty good even fight, which that's quite surprising. Given the fact that they lose, whenever they basically a new villain shows up, they basically lose like crazy. Because you watch live, man, they basically have a tough time battling the grunts a lot of the time. Or battling the villains. It's like they basically struggle to beat any people in that show. I like live, man. But that's one thing I didn't like about it. This one basically is not like that at all. At least these people are pretty competent and actually competent fighters. Yep. But now I shall say these episodes, definitely good. Okay, so that's the episode review. Next one's going to be a comic corner. Yes, a comic corner, okay? Next video. Bye.